Good, very good.
All right. So, um, the what is the what's the most important thing for you to work on? Is it like which aspect of everything that's going on?
So the thing that we're most scared about is that I'm almost out of all foods. I have two foods right now, and sometimes I even react to the different variations of the potato if it comes from a different farm. So if there was something we can fix that would help me open up my diet, that would be the biggest concern right now. And and the way we found you was, basically, since my accident, I believe I have cervical instability, even though my DMX doesn't show much of it. So
Hmm.
we're thinking that if we can fix something there, maybe vagus nervus compress or something, then it can help my food. It's like,
Okay. Okay. Um, and that so that I just because I want to be because I don't treat and work with gut conditions specifically, right? If there is a cervical condition that is contributing to the food intolerances and the GI symptoms and things like that, then my procedures may be able to help. But I just wanted to make sure that we were kind of on the same page that gastrointestinal conditions are not my specialty,
okay,
but looking at, do we have cervical instability that's causing vagus nerve compression, that is causing widespread autonomic nervous system dysfunction, which can lead to things such as GI conditions, then we can look at my procedures, the things that I do in that world that may help with that type of stuff. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page so that way, that we're all good moving forward, and that I can deliver something that you're expecting.
got it. Yeah, makes sense.
Make sense? Okay. All right. So tell me the story. So motor vehicle accident in 2016. Tell me about that accident.
So it was 2012, and
Oh, it was 2012, not 2016.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, that was written wrong here. Okay, so 2012. What happened?
So it was not a high speed accident. I was on a motorbike, but it was too many people. It was four people in a motorbike, and the motorbike slipped. It just slipped on the road, and I just flew slightly, and then I landed on my chin, and then I was unconscious apparently for like 5 minutes. My friend said, and it was in the middle of the night, so they just took me to a local um, kind of like place, like a little hut where they can just do the stitches. It's in Thailand. It's like,
Oh, okay. I was like, this does not sound like it's in America.
yeah, yeah,
Going to a little hut.
yeah. It was in America. It was
Okay.
not also in a major city. It was actually up north, so it was a little bit even more rural than the usual Thailand. And
Okay.
so yeah, I mean, got stitches for that night. That was it. And then next day we realized my jaw is broken on both sides. Um, so I had to wear a brace that had just held my jaw against my head for about a month. And then I just ate soups and liquids for about a month. The jaw became kind of better, and that was the end of it. Um, that's all in terms of the accident itself. And
Okay.
then the only symptoms I even felt throughout that month, like the immediate symptoms, was just I couldn't eat oily food like burgers anymore. I mean, not just I couldn't chew, but even after my jaw was healed, I can't eat anything with oil in it. And then I can't go near smoke. Those were the only two symptoms at that time, and then it progressed downwards from there.
Okay. Give me 1 second here to get caught up on that typing. So when you noticed that the jaw was broken, did you do anything? Did you go see anybody in Thailand or anything like that?
No, I mean, we went to the doctor to get the brace, and
Oh,
they
okay.
confirmed that the jaw's kind of broken.
So they
Um,
took X-rays.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, they would have. Yeah, yeah, and then gave me the brace.
So initially, did you have any neck pain, headaches, anything like that, or was it all just the GI symptoms?
It was just the GI. I had no pain whatsoever. I was back, just doing everything I normally do um, within about a month and a half.
And you couldn't eat greasy foods, and what was the other thing you said?
I couldn't go near any kind of smoke.
Oh, and smoke. Like you mean like people who were doing cigarette smoke,
Cigarette
that type
smoke.
of stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I would like start to suffocate like immediately.
Okay. Okay. So that's kind of 2012. Then how has it progressed over the last 9 years?
So the first 5 years wasn't that bad. I just started getting more GI issues, like started reacting to like more like foods that I would have to only cook home. Then I only could eat. I realized I can't eat canola oil anymore. I could only cook with olive oil and coconut oil. So it kind of just progressed with my GI stuff a little bit, but it wasn't any kind of other effects. I was going to the gym. I was still running and everything, like 2013, 14. Up until like 2015 when my cranial head pressure started to come on. And then up like it was like just more and more pressure until like 2017. That's when my joint started to hurt, where I can't use a computer as much. I realized I would have to click just with my index fingers because my other joints are hurting. My feet started to hurt. Like I would realize I would just hurt myself. Like just trying to go to the gym, I would always just hurt myself in some way, shape, or form. Like sprain ankle multiple times easily. So then I would try to rest it, and then I would just hurt like my back and stuff would hurt just by doing like back exercises. Like so, overall joint dysfunction started to happen, like or like pain and stuff by like 2017, 18. And then 19 is when it got like extremely worse. I had like a point in 19 where out of nowhere I can't just get out of bed. I can't eat any food, and I'm just like in emergency mode the whole time. So when the emergency came back, nothing changed, and I was just been in bedridden for like a couple of weeks until I went to the AIP protocol, and that alleviated like 70% or more of my symptoms at that time, got me able to be walking again and everything. But then it kept getting worse until I couldn't even eat the the soup, and I was eating like, what do you call it? I forgot the term, but it's like the just the boiled like bones and stuff.
Oh, your bone broth.
Broth, yes.
Yeah.
I was eating like broth and stuff in the mornings and stuff, so I couldn't eat that anymore until I got to this point where I can't walk, I can't speak much. Like for this talk, I had to kind of rest up the day before so I can talk. But generally, if I try to talk more than like an hour or two, my head pressure builds up too much. My symptoms start coming on, fatigue. I get dizziness, start to get vertigo if I try to push it more. Same thing happens if I try to walk too much. I can walk around the house, but if I try to go for a walk, like more than 5-10 minutes or something, start to get dizzy, vertigo, shortness of breath, kind of start seeing stars, blacking out a little bit. And so yeah, like that's how I kind of, in a nutshell, progressed to this point.
Okay. The AIP protocol, you said that was 2019?
Yeah.
Okay. And what happens if you deviate outside the current, what sounds like a riveting diet of salmon and potatoes?
So like I start getting dizziness and vertigo, and shortness of breath is pretty strong.
Okay.
So last week I went to the emergency after a long time, and it's because like so normally I get organic red garnet sweet potatoes, and
Okay.
the place changed the potatoes and they didn't let us know. It's the same box, same everything, but they just got it from a different farm. So for some reason, the potatoes was like a little bit bigger and a little bit different color, even though it's the same organic red garnet sweet potato. I had a reaction to that where I couldn't breathe, got dizziness, vertigo. We thought it was out of nothing because we didn't change anything. We monitored everything very closely. So I went to the ER, came back, and then when we retraced our stats, we called the place. They said they recently had to change because of seasons or whatever, and so that's, yeah. I mean, it's the same symptoms. I just start getting vertigo and I lose my balance, so I can't tell if I'm standing straight or not. So I have to hold the wall to know that I'm leaning against it, so it must be straight. And then vertigo is not as much. It comes like only sometimes. It's not as bad as before. Vertigo meaning when the room is spinning, I have to close my eyes and keep still and sit down where I'm at. I don't have that as much, but I have dizziness and loss of balance, along with shortness of breath and just blacking out.
Okay. When you went to the ER, what did they do?
They just ran my EKG and stuff, and did a chest X-ray, gave me some saline, I think.
Some what? Oh, saline?
Yeah, saline.
Like an IV?
Like an IV, yeah. And then that was it. It came back everything perfect, as usual. Everything was normal. And then that was it.
Did the saline infusion help? So did it go away because they did the saline infusion, or do you think it just went away because time and it went away?
Time. And went away. But IV does help. Like, I figured out by going to emergencies a couple times that IV does help. So that's why I get IV therapy once a week. And that IV therapy does way more than the thing I get in the ER.
Who are you doing the IV therapy through?
It's just called mobile nurses. It's like they just come out to your house and give you IV.
Do you get to choose what's in your IV? How does that work?
Yeah, there's like a menu, and I choose the Myers cocktail every time.
You said mobile nurses, that's what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me a bit more about this head pressure.
So it's just feels like it's like my brain is crushed against my skull. It's like swelling up against my skull. Usually starts in the sides of the head and then goes to the back and covers the top. So it's not in the front, it's just side. Also feels like a little bit in the back, like the bottom of my skull. So it covers side, back, and top. And I just feel like pressure building up where it just hurts. Just a constant pressure and pain when I either talk too much or walk a bit too much.
Okay. Nothing front. It's all sides, back, and then a little bit of the top, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. What else can you do? So we have the eating food. So if you deviate from that diet that you have, you get symptoms. What else brings on any of your symptoms?
Talking and walking.
Talking and walking.
But food is the most, it's like immediately it'll go, like within 5-10 minutes, it'll go to like 9-10 pain. Where talking, I'll start to feel it, and then it tells me, that it's time for me to be quiet and go in my room and just sit down for a couple hours.
Okay. And then when it starts, what can you do to make the severity of the symptoms less, or to stop the symptoms? Is there anything like that?
Like, it's like just really be quiet. Just be quiet and don't see my phone, because then I can hurt it by bending my neck if I look down. So like, don't watch anything and just lay down in the room and just be quiet and just make sure that nobody else comes to like ask me a question or something like that. So,
okay. What treatments have you tried for this?
Well, there's been a lot of treatments we attempted, but I cannot tolerate any, right? So I've worked with few. Okay, so to backtrack a little, the first like about 30 doctors that I went to, it was like all in the normal scope, like check like carpal tunnel, check my GI, put pipes down, check all that. So that didn't do anything. Yeah. And then the last like 5-10 doctors, I got a lot more difference in private doctors, and what we tried was like one of the plans the autoimmune specialist put together was like, there's infections in my stomach, and I have mitochondrial disease. I'm also poisoned with mercury because I'm having 35 servings of salmon per week, and so the idea was to detoxify me. And there was like a program. So first step would be to start with very soft, like digestive enzymes. Next part was like some other, things I need to do, like I think it was like certain herbal stuff, and there's a few things in that plane, like aloe vera and stuff like that, slippery elm. And then like there's a couple more after that until it will be like antibiotics that can kill the infections to calm down my immune system. To be not so reactive, so then I can move on to the other kinds of treatments.
Yeah.
The very first thing was digestive enzymes, and I had reaction to that, so we could never proceed to anything.
Have you had a heavy metal test for the mercury, or is it just assumed that you have?
Oh no, I had a test for it and confirmed by the doctor.
Okay. Was it a urine test or a blood test? Do you remember?
I think it was both.
Both?
Yeah. They did like full test with blood, and then they took urine as well. And then the test came back with some markers for mercury and a couple other elements, like iron and stuff like that. And then mercury was the only one that's like, like at that dangerous level. The other stuff were a little bit off, but nothing like crazy.
Okay. And when was that?
I think like 3 months ago.
3 months ago? Okay. Which doctor did you see? I'd like to get their records.
For the mercury test, right?
Yeah.
I think that was Dr. Connie Fox.
Connie Fox.
Yeah.
Well, was that local here in Arizona?
No, she's in the UK.
Oh, UK. Oh, shoot, that'll be tough. Do you happen to remember the name of the clinic?
I can get it to you. It's somewhere in my email records.
Okay, that would be helpful. So that way, or do you have copies of the results?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Can you? I don't think I saw those in your portal. If you could you upload?
We did a lot of testing with my blood work. So fingernail testing, stool test, complete GI map, and then not including the previous tests like in the last 8 years. Like I did a lot of testing that's like in the last year. That's like a little bit more towards these kind of stuff. The first 5-6 years, the testings were more like traditional, like everything with the normal stuff. But I can upload like I don't know the names a little bit, but it's like stool tests, a lot of GI tests, and then like a lot of blood work with autoimmune markers. And then like currently the tests that I'm doing, so I do like 1 or 2 like a week of different kinds of tests. This one I'm getting this week is gene by gene, a tryptase test to see if I have mast cell activation. So yeah, there's quite a few. I don't have records of it, but I have like about 8 to 10 records that I can upload of like different kinds of stuff.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Okay, so you weren't able to tolerate the digestive enzymes. What other things have you tried?
So the only thing that I was able to tolerate and actually helped quite a bit with my sleep is ketotifen.
Is what, sorry?
Ketotifen.
I am not familiar with that.
Ketitofen.
Oh, the eye drops.
But yeah, it's like for itchy eyes and stuff, but I get mine in a tablet.
Okay.
And it's 1 mg, but I get the extra capsules and divide that by 1/10, and I can tolerate it if I take about 1/10 to 1/5 of the recommended dose.
So you're taking about 0.1 to 0.15 milligrams. Does that sound correct then?
Yeah.
Or you said 1/10 to 1/5, correct?
Yeah, I think 1/5 is 0.1 to 0.2, right?
Like yes. Yeah. And are you taking that daily?
Yes.
What happened when you took like a full milligram?
I just got overwhelmed. Like I just head pressure came on, and I just felt really off. Like I couldn't write my name. Like my coordination became really off. I couldn't write I just couldn't like get my hands to coordinate, and like just little like strange symptoms. Like when I took 1 mg, I tried it, and the coordination was one of the main things that's off. Like when I was trying to eat that day, I kept on hitting my teeth when I put the spoon in my mouth. Like I just couldn't like figure out like exactly aim my stuff like that. Coordination was off.
Okay. Okay. What other things have you tried?
We tried a lot of stuff, like meaning like in terms of like different types of foods I would try every couple of months. Like I would hear like like January, I heard we tried some chicken because I was told that the chicken I got is only half of its life free range. The other half could be eating corn. So they got me like chicken that's like eating worms their whole life. So I thought that could have been helped. So that was the last time I tried some chicken in January, and that was really bad. Like for almost a month, more than 3 weeks, I couldn't walk properly. I was having a lot of trouble. I would be able to just function maybe a couple hours a week where I could talk and be in front of the computer and stuff. It was so anyways. So yeah, I mean we try like a lot of little stuff like that in terms of like medicine. Um, I can't tolerate like vitamins, like multivitamin, vitamin C, any kind of vitamins like that. Medicine wise, what else did we try? I tried like just a couple of days ago. I tried Benadryl because one of the people I'm talking to, Annie Maitland, is an MCAS specialist. She said that if you're having flares, try to see if you take some Benadryl. Is it calming it down? Because that confirms it's MCAS. So I just went and took some Benadryl, like with a dropper, and I had a reaction to that, pretty strong reaction considering just a few drops with the dropper. So I know Benadryl and stuff is pretty hard to tolerate. But then I was also told that the one I got has some more sugar than normal, because I got the children's Benadryl thinking it is more safe, but the children's one has a bit more sugar than the adult. So anyways, so yeah, I mean it's almost hard for me to find anything that I can tolerate medicine wise. Tadalafil is the only thing that I was able to find out. Now with my chiropractor that I was working with a couple of months ago, he did some vagus nerve stimulation with a laser and did some massaging and did a cream called Prologel, and I was able to tolerate that. I can't tolerate lotion on my skin. I have reactions, but I was able to tolerate that Prologel, and that did help me. That was, I think, the only doctor so far that was able to make a difference. After that, my clenching of the jaw calmed down, and my sleep became a little bit better from vagus nerve stimulation. And a few other things that we did, like hand-eye coordination, tapping stuff on the screen and stuff like that.
Okay. Who was that you saw?
Dr. Trevor Berry. He's in.
Oh yeah, I know him.
Oh
wait, did they refer you over to me?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I know Dr. Berry and Dr. Teams over at the clinic there.
Okay.
Nice.
Awesome.
Okay. And then so you only had that once?
Well, I did a package of like 2 months, and then I had some relief, and then after that he said that I can continue like once a month to keep this up, but he kind of referred me out to Renew Health. This is a doctor that does like accident injury stuff, so I'm in consultation with them now, and we're trying to get on a treatment plan to get antibiotics again. But this time, since I react, what he has in plan is to give me, I forgot the name, but it's like artificial immunity temporarily, so I can take medicine and then kill the infections in my body. So that's like the direction we're kind of going with that part.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I'm not continuing anymore with Dr. Berry more and more, just because he said that you can maintain it. This is where we want to keep it. If you're going off a little bit, this is why we want to do once a month. But he didn't say that that he thought that just continuing that heavily will relieve everything.
Right. Okay. Okay. Have you ever tried any homeopathy?
Like what?
So homeopathic remedies are usually they're going to be like small little white pellets. There's thousands of different specific ones like arnica or pulsatilla, things like that.
Oh yeah.
Basically, oh, you have?
Yeah, I have them. I react to those.
You react to them?
I don't know. I didn't try that many, but I went to a doctor initially who did IV therapy, and then she gave me undas.
Okay, a little bit different, but okay.
Yeah.
So you reacted to the undas?
Yeah. Not strong reaction, but react. Yeah, have trouble tolerating.
Okay. Does neck positioning change anything?
No.
So, looking up for a period of time or looking down for a period of time doesn't increase or decrease any of your symptoms.
So I mean, like looking down, it starts causing pain in my neck area. So I try not to look down too much. Like I can't read a book anymore. So I have to keep it straight. But I only get pain there. I've heard people who say that they can turn their neck and then they start getting blurry and start getting numbness and stuff. I don't have like symptoms other parts of the body when I change my neck. If I look up or down too much, I'm just getting pain in my neck.
Okay. What is worse for you for the neck pain? Looking up for an extended period of time or looking down for an extended period of time?
Down.
Down, okay. Okay. Do you ever get any fever or chills?
No.
Okay. And I think I remember seeing that energy levels pretty bad in the morning, but throughout the day, for the most part, are okay.
Yeah, like my energy, like if that's like my like willing to get up and do stuff is not bad. But I would want to go do stuff, but obviously like when I start walking, then I start getting my symptoms, or if I move around too much, that's when I can't do it. So I just wanted to differentiate. I think some people say like they can't get up because they just feel so tired. I don't feel tired. I feel like I would like to, get up, but I just can't.
When was your the DMX that you had?
Last week.
Last week, okay. And you did that out here?
Yeah.
And do you have those results?
Yeah, I think I sent the link.
Was it via email?
Let me check. The doctor that at Go Renew Health, I believe, said, and also Dr. Trevor, not the Go Renew, Dr. Trevor himself said that he took a look and he doesn't see much instability.
Okay, which group did your digital motion X-ray?
Leisure World Chiropractic.
Leisure World Chiropractic. Okay.
Yeah. So I got like a couple of different answers with that. So Dr. Trevor said he doesn't see much, and then 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago I went to an upper cervical chiropractor who did an X-ray and said that I have cervical instability in C1, C2, C6, and then also have a military neck. So that's what he said with that. And then
which chiropractor was that?
Upper Cervical Chiropractor of Arizona.
Okay. Okay. So depend. So whenever we order digital motion X-ray, the company that we do it through, all of the images and videos get read by the inventor of the DMX. And so I will reach out to them because depending on the quality of the reports, because we're gonna get records from Leisure World Chiropractic, from Upper Cervical Chiropractor of Arizona, and then also Dr. Barry, because I want to see what all of them stated. And if I'm not satisfied with it, I might reach out to the company to find out what it would entail to have your images read by the inventor of DMX. So that way, because I am not an expert in reading these, and so I don't give interpretations of the discs.
Okay.
I trust the smarter people who have been doing this for 10 years to give me that answer. So that might be something that we will look into. But I am still going to watch this. So give me 3 minutes and 50 seconds to watch this here. Flare and symptoms at all?
It was kind of tough to do the DMX. Most of the movement was fine, but there was one way to twist your head while keeping your mouth open as wide as possible. That was felt like it was really hurting my jaw and everything like that.
That we haven't talked about?
Treatments. Not really. I mean, like, I've tried a lot. It's just none of it has really worked, right? We did everything from bioresonance, treatments. Did like a lot of herbal, droppers multiple times a day. Try to get a rhythm to calm the immune system. That was like just recent ones, and then before that, I've tried. Not like every doctor I went to, we tried something. It's like 1 in 5 doctors, I would say, because most times we would went and they would say that everything seems normal for the most part, especially in the beginning of the treatments. But I would say like at least like 10, 15 types of treatments we try to follow through and try something, but then it would either not work or get to a point I'm getting worse, and then we'd have to stop it.
Okay. Says red russet potatoes, sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes.
And then you said, so where else do you have the joint pain? So you said around kind of, I think it was 2017, if I remember correctly. You started to notice some more widespread joint pain. What joints?
Mainly the hands, wrist, fingers, and then feet, ankle.
Is it present all the time? Does it move around in those areas? So like some days it might be the wrist, other days it's the hands and fingers. Like, talk to me about the kind of rhythm of that pain.
No, it's pretty much in the same areas all the time. Sometimes it moves around because I'm trying to, like, for example, like when I walk, it hurts in the ball and heel mainly. So sometimes what I do is I'm trying to kind of walk on with the weight kind of shifted forward on my towards the front of my feet, but then that starts to hurt more. And then since I did that maybe a bit too much, it'll hurt more for a couple of days in the front of my feet. That's where it shifts over, but it's like generally the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Anything else that we have not talked about in terms of what's going on before we kind of chat about where I think we go next?
I mean, I have a pretty long list of symptoms, right? It's about 37 symptoms in total,
Yep.
but a lot of those, especially after like the first 15, is like pretty minimal.
Okay.
Like I don't consider jaw pain as big. Everything from like I have like depersonalization, detachment from body experiences where I just really feel very off. Along it comes with my balances and stuff. So those kind of stuff is like considered very minor compared to like the thing we're talking about where I feel like, and some of my doctors feel like I'm close to like having a bad outcome because of the autoimmune dysfunction and stuff. So there's quite a few more symptoms, but it's in that direction, right? So more joint pain, more neurological symptoms,
Right.
more
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So here's what I'm thinking right now. So I need more information. So that will come in the form of we're going to upload a what's called a records release form into your portal. If you could, and there'll be 3 of them. There'll be one for Leisure World Chiropractic, Upper Cervical Chiropractic of Arizona, and then Dr. Barry. And you just need to sign those and then send them back to us. So that way we can then send it to those practices and they will send over their records to us so that I can review that. So that's step 1 on my end. Based on that, we may look into having your DMX reread by the inventor of the DMX. I will see. So that'll be one part. The second, also real quick, I reviewed your MRI and nothing glaring jumping out at me in terms of any pathology that's present. But when I take a look more at the DMX, that may change how I view things, and so we'll touch base again on that at the next appointment. So in terms of things we can start today, so there's obviously a connection between your accident and all the symptoms you are having today. What that connection is, whether that is craniocervical instability or upper cervical instability or generalized cervical instability leading to vagus nerve entrapment, I don't know yet because I need more information to help parse through that to see if I think that's the case. But there's clearly a connection. So while I'm gathering more information, I think the one thing I'd like to start, because having a very limited diet is obviously going to mean that your micronutrient status, so vitamins and minerals, are going to be super low. And that's obviously going to be a problem because we need our vitamins and minerals to do everything in our body. And the Myers cocktail that you're getting is clearly helping. You reported that it's helping. However, I don't think that it is helping near enough, especially because most of those places, the dosages that they put in that stuff is so low. So that being said, there is a liquid supplement, and I know, hang tight with me, I know you don't tolerate supplements well, but this is just seawater. So what they do is they take seawater off the coast of Spain in an area that is really rich in phytoplankton and zooplankton that metabolize their food products. And what we get out of that is a portion or a segment of the ocean that is really, really, really rich in micronutrients. Contains all 74 trace elements that are naturally found on the earth. And it is by far the best multi-mineral that I've ever come across in terms of supplementation. So there's nothing processed to it. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, is this different than the seawater that is from like the oceans in Canada?
Probably yes. What is the brand on that one? Do you know?
Let me check my email. So I had gotten, and then it was very salty. So I had clearly a reaction to it, but then I took only 10 ml a day. They recommend 100 ml and build up. Let me get the brand.
Yeah.
Find it, which one I took, I can let you know. My question for that would be like, last time, I think I went a bit too much because they said that you could start as low as 100 and build it up to quite a big amount. I forgot what it was. And then I did 100 and it was like immediately it was bad. Then I waited a week and then I did 10 ml a day and I was still feeling it. So my question would be, if I was to take a very small amount, like where I don't even know it's there in my water and I just put in my filtration tank like a little bit and mixes with the whole thing, is that still going to be helpful, you think? Like if I take very small amounts?
Yeah, so the normal starting dose for you that I would want would be 10 mLs once per day, but I wouldn't want you to mix it with a whole big thing of water. It's better to do it directly, the 10 mLs. So the other thing that we have to remember is that there will be some things that will initially cause mild reactions, and that's normal and okay.
Okay.
Right? And so, for example, when you have a very bad nerve injury, and I'm not saying this is you, I'm just giving you this example. So when you have a very bad nerve injury and you can't feel the nerve anymore because of the damage, when the nerve starts to repair, the nerve goes from not being able to feel anything to being painful. And that's not a bad thing, that's actually a good thing.
Right, it's coming back to life, and then, yeah.
Yeah, and so as we start something like this, the Quinton isotonic, you may notice initially that there might be some changes, and we don't want to immediately abandon it just because of something that takes you away from your current state. Because it actually could be a good thing. It could be that your brain is taking up those minerals and figuring out how to use them. And so things are shifting, and that may be okay, it may not be, right?
Sure.
With how pure this product is, I would be, if you do have a mild negative reaction, I would be more inclined to think that it is a normal part of your healing, that you're just having a small aggravation, and over time that will improve. Again, just because it's coming in a glass bottle, it is literally just seawater. Like, they don't do anything to it other than filter it so that there's no bacteria in it anymore. There's no preservatives, there's literally nothing. And so, unless you had, I can't even think of a condition in which you would not be able to tolerate that, right? From a physiological standpoint, like, again, there's nothing things like the supplements and that type of stuff. There's the capsule, there's binders, there's fillers, there's other things in supplements that you could be reacting to, and that's reasonable. But something like this, where it's just seawater, I cannot predict that you would have a negative reaction. And if you do have a mild negative reaction, I would initially say, okay, I understand. Let's let's maybe split up the dose. So instead of 10 mLs once a day, we are doing maybe 5 mLs twice a day to see if that's helpful. But we're going to continue it to see if we can get your body used to it, because eventually that's what's going to happen, right? When we see these situations where we are so restricted on diet and everything like that, initially when you bring new things in the equation, your immune system is going to react. That's normal. That's because it's a foreign thing to the immune system, even if it's normal, right? And so it's what we call progressive overload over time, where eventually we have to start exposing the body to more things to help desensitize it, so that way you can function and not be so limited. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Okay. So, but we will start slow. So this is what I think we're going to do. So normally, have you ever noticed that do you react differently to different types of water? Like, have you ever noticed that? So, like, do you have to have your water filtered a specific way, or is there anything specific about your water that you require in order for you to be able to drink it and not react?
Yeah, but not it's not that specific. Like, my one right now that I use is a double charcoal filter that was recommended by actually Dr. Berry, and this one's good. But I can also drink bottled water. Sometimes when I'm caught off guard, then somewhere, then I'll have to drink bottled water, and I'm fine with that. And but I did have the only water I can't drink is like tap water. Like when I was in New York, when I drank tap water, it was immediately I would get into pain. But it's not as specific like potatoes. I could drink different types of water as long as it's some kind of filtered water.
Okay. So there's two types of this water. There is what they call hypertonic, which it's a saltier solution than like what our blood salt level is, and that is just straight seawater. They don't dilute it at all. Then there's a diluted form called isotonic, where they basically dilute it down to be the same salt, what we call physiologic salt concentration, and they use mountain spring water to do that. I think we'll start you on the isotonic, which again is going to be milder, so that way we can see if you can tolerate it, and then over time, hopefully we can progress to the stronger form, the hypertonic, but we'll start small. We'll start with their lightest version and go from there.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think if I had to guess, I think the issues I had in the past was just to the salt, not the minerals. Because even salt, normally when I put it on my salmon, it's very specific, like exactly how much I put. I almost have to underput it. If I can taste the salt, that means I can't eat it, because I'm very sensitive to the amount of salt. That's why I put very little, almost like just to make it edible enough to eat the salmon, and nothing more than that. So if it's with that option, I'm almost positive that the one you just said is going to be better.
Okay. And so this will taste slightly salty, but again, there's so much research out there showing that if you are salt depleted, that in and of itself can cause a whole host of symptoms. And so sometimes when we temporarily increase that salt, because your body has tried to adapt to low salt. So then when we have an instance of, if you're adapted to low salt over here, and then you get some more salt, your body goes, oh, whoa, this feels like too much salt.
Right.
And so over time, what we have to do is gently expose it to more salt, so that way we can get your baseline to be normal, not your baseline to be depleted. Does that make sense?
Makes sense, yeah. I think, it's like basically it's time that I put up with things like this a little bit longer, not just as soon as I feel something, it's like, all right, check it out off the list. So, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now, how much time do you spend outside?
So, in the morning, I do 30 minutes. I sit outside just to get sunlight, shirtless, and I do some meditation.
Okay.
and that helps a lot.
Do you wear shoes or sandals, or are you barefoot connected to the earth?
I wear shoes. I'm never without shoes because I cannot take the impact of the floor.
Okay. So what you will need to start doing is taking your shoes off during that 30 minutes when you're outside.
Okay.
Okay. So when you're meditating, I'm assuming you're sitting, not standing.
Yeah, I'm not saying. I can take it off then.
Okay. And then is it grass or concrete where you sit and do your meditation?
Concrete.
Concrete? That's okay. Concrete is fine. So what you'll do is during that 30 minutes, just take your socks and shoes off. And you don't have to walk around. You don't have to do anything specific. You just want to make sure that your bare feet are touching the ground. What that does is that transfers electrons from the earth into you. That's really critically important for our overall health because a lot of our body uses those electrons for different processes. And so this action of grounding the body can be helpful to improve nerve function, improve immune function, improve inflammatory status, things like that.
Wow. Okay.
Okay? Does that sound like something you'd be able to do?
Yeah.
Okay. So grounding for 30. And then any other times that you are outside? Or is it just the 30 minutes in the morning?
Just the 30 minutes in the morning
Okay.
mainly.
Okay.
And then I try to do a walk. Like I do one block walk. I can't do it most days. If I'm feeling up to it and joints are hurting less, I try to do one block around the house.
Okay. Okay. So for that, if you need to, obviously wear your shoes, right? We don't want to aggravate the foot pain. But let's go for 20 to 30 minutes of grounding. So bare feet connected to the concrete each day. Okay. And you're already doing light exposure, so that's good. Okay. I think those are probably the two things that are gentle, right? Because it sounds like in the past everybody's kind of thrown like a huge bunch of stuff at you and then it doesn't work because it's just too intense for you. So I think we start nice and slow. We start with the sea mineral water. We start with the grounding. We do that for probably 4 weeks. That will give me time to go over everything that I get from your records. And then we will touch base again in 4 weeks to review all that. If during that time we need to get your DMX reread by the other physician, then we'll reach out and coordinate on that because he'll probably need either the CD or I can always email the link. I don't know what they'll need yet. I don't know if there's a fee for that. So obviously, if there is, we will discuss that with you, and that fee would be through them, not us.
Right.
But how does that sound for starting a starting place?
That sounds good. For the water, is it going to be sent to me?
Yes. So you will get a text and an email from FullScript, which is basically like Amazon for doctors who prescribe supplements.
Okay.
And from there, so it'll say your doctor has prescribed you a supplement, and then you can create an account, and then you can have it shipped to your house. You don't have to go anywhere to get it.
Okay, great. And then
Okay.
other than that, I just had 2 questions.
Yeah.
Regarding just generally for injections to the neck with prolotherapy, PRP, things like that. Let's say the DMX comes and we have it's not, let's say, clear, but there's some dysfunction. Would it hurt to go ahead and go do the treatment anyways?
Generally, no. However, with how your immune system overreacts to things, I would be initially concerned that because the healing process from a prolotherapy injection is immune mediated. Your immune system gets involved in that healing process. And so I'm not saying, no, we wouldn't do it. it might just be more, hey, maybe we need to spend a bit of time doing some of the things that we're working on and getting your immune system to not be as reactive. So that way, when we do this, we don't send you into a huge flare. Does that make sense?
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So I want to make sure that we're being smart and safe about our approach. So that way we don't make you worse from the injection.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. What other questions do you have for me?
So the last one was is kind of going to be I know you might not have an opinion on this, but basically one of the things that we're really afraid right now in the house is the Delta variant is going out, and so far I've laid low, and we just shifted to delivering everything home. Like before we were going out like once every 2 weeks to just get some of the groceries and delivering most. Now we're 100% delivering everything to the house, spraying everything before we bring it inside, all the stuff. So
yeah.
The point is, so what we're getting scared is one of the doctors I talked to, they kind of, like pretty straightforward told me that if I was to get COVID, it would not be a good outcome with my current condition. But then they still don't feel comfortable that I should take the vaccine. What would be your thoughts on this?
So I have seen some very healthy people get sick from COVID and end up in the hospital. However, it is more prevalent in patients who have underlying conditions, right? And diabetes. Generally, we're looking for about 2 to 3 comorbidities that are going to indicate that COVID could be more severe. Do I think that COVID would be a bad outcome for you? No. Could it? Yes. I don't think anybody, except for whatever nature or almighty being we believe in, they're the only ones who know what's actually going to happen because they have the crystal ball, right? So I don't think it's good for you to think that, oh, if I get COVID, I'm screwed. Because that's not always true, right? Just because you get COVID does not mean that you'll be screwed. You might be sick, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be a bad outcome for you, because we don't know that. Because I've seen people who are 10 times as sick as you, got COVID, and they recovered in a week and they're fine. So the fact that you can be sick and still be okay means that if you get sick, you could still be okay. So I don't want you to go in being deathly afraid of the outside world for fear of somebody saying that you'll have a bad outcome. Additionally, the Delta variant is less lethal than the original variant.
Okay, so just more contagious.
It's more contagious, but less lethal. Okay. So, and that's the natural progression. So viruses, bacteria, all these bugs, their intention is to live. Their intention is to live and spread. Their intention is not malicious. Their intention is not to kill humans or any species that they invade, right? They are just trying to survive in this world the same way chipmunks are trying to survive, humans are trying to survive, alligators are trying to survive. Every living thing is out there trying to survive. That being said, as viruses mutate, they generally mutate towards more contagious but less deadly. Because again, their goal is just like the human population, to spread, to make babies and spread, but not to kill the host. Because if the virus kills all of the humans, there's no more virus. The virus dies. So that's not what their ultimate goal is. So the mutations that occur in viruses, sometimes they become more virulent, but over time, and I should say more deadly, but generally what happens is, if that happens, that strain goes away relatively quickly because it is not advantageous to their natural selection. Their natural selection, they want to spread and they want to live. If they kill their host, they don't spread and they don't live. They die with the host.
Right.
So the Delta variant is more than likely more contagious, but less deadly than the original COVID strain. However, the media is not telling you that. All the media is focusing on is the fear around how more contagious it is.
So basically, then I guess the thing is, do you think it would be with what we just talked about? Do you think it would be like okay for me to take the vaccine and I could handle it? Or
I don't know. You could, just like getting COVID, you could get the vaccine and be totally fine. You could also get think about this. Right now, you react to the wrong farm of potatoes. How do you think you might react to getting a vaccine that has chemicals added into it?
yeah,
It's not just pure viral particles. There's other chemicals, preservatives, things like that. So, and again, I'm not saying that you should not get it. I'm just saying that you have to make the decision if you want to take the risk, because the fact that you are reacting to a lot of things in your environment, in your world, means that you will probably have a reaction to the vaccine, which might just be temporary, could be permanent, but you could also have no reaction and you could be totally fine. I don't have the answer because I don't have the crystal ball. I'm just logically thinking this out with you in terms of what might happen, so that you can make the best decision. Because at the end of the day, it's your decision.
right. That makes sense. And okay, I understand with the virus, it's not probably as deadly, and but sooner or later, I would pretty much get it, and it would be whatever is the outcome. Is one thing is for sure is the negative side of the vaccine would be far less than actually getting the COVID, right?
So yes and no. So if you get the vaccine and you just have the normal reaction, which is most people get soreness in the arm, for a day, and they feel like they've got the flu for 24 to 48 hours, right? That's a normal response, and we expect that anytime we give a vaccine, because that's actually your immune system doing work. That's your immune system saying, oh, I'm recognizing there's something foreign here, so I'm going to make antibodies. I'm going to spike a mild fever. That's normal, okay? If you compare a normal reaction of the COVID vaccine to a normal reaction of getting the virus, right, where you're sick for, let's say, 3 to 7 days. I had COVID, and I felt crappy for about 3 days, and then I was fine. So when you compare that, yes, the response to the COVID vaccine is less than the response that you might have to the virus. However, the potential for serious long-term negative harm from the vaccine, I think, is higher than the rate of serious long-term harm from COVID itself.
Wow.
So if you have a negative, bad reaction to the vaccine, right, there are reports of people dying. There are reports of long-term neurological damage. There are reports of a whole bunch of other weird stuff. That is while not reported properly, appears to be more problematic than your chance of actually dying from COVID.
Wow. Okay.
But again, the media is generally not going to tell you that. So,
makes sense.
Things to think about. This is just another point of view. I'm obviously not a virologist. I'm not an expert in COVID. I am just a dude who tries to think logically about things, and I don't take a political side on the vaccine or the virus, which it's sad that there even is a political view on a virus. It should be science, not what the left or the right says about the science, right? And so just another point of view for you that the vaccine could be the best thing for you because it protects you and you don't have any negative side effects and you now feel more safe going out in public, or it could be not a good thing because you have a negative reaction to it. I don't know which one will happen, right? You just have to make the personal decision on which way you want to go. But we can't assume that the vaccine is safe, and we can't assume that the virus will have a bad outcome for you, because it's neither ends of those extreme. Both of those, it's in the middle.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah,
for that
of course.
explanation.
What other questions can I answer for you, man?
No, that would be it.
Okay. All right. So next steps on your end is